I have entered a new season of my life. Every time I enter a new season in my life, I feel like the me before was just a fucking fraud. How dare I be that way, or anything of the sorts. But then I have to remind myself to stay open-minded and give myself a lot of grace. One of my biggest challenges currently is being married, and I just got some insight as I continue to dig deeper into myself. Not everything is perfect. The perfection chapter does end. Reality sets in. Things can get very rocky, especially when you have kids. Just marriage itself is challenging, and also adding kids to that and adding self-healing from past trauma on top of self-discovery of who the fuck am I actually. It's just a lot. And honestly, I want to say that in between feeling of the just like confusion, the uncertainty, the fogginess from the clarity, I would say that's grief, definitely. And there's different types of grief. I actually started working on a project revolving around grief itself. Death grief, identity grief, relationship grief, friendship grief. We have family grief, childhood grief, dream grief, place grief, health grief, aging grief. There's just like, it just keeps going. There's transition grief, and there is like a collective community grief. I've been through all of those. And in going through all of those, I was just stuck with, I don't know what is going on. I feel like a lot of people don't know what's going on because they are in these stages of grief. However, they also might surround grief with just death, just loss, but that's not it. There's more to it. I would sit with myself a lot and say, like, I shouldn't, like, try to convince myself that I shouldn't be sad because nothing bad has happened. That's not it at all. I'm allowed to be sad. You're allowed to be sad because there are different transitions that we're going through in life, and we are grieving how things essentially used to be. You can be discovering that you're grieving a different version of yourself, like a former version of yourself. You can be grieving, like myself, a friendship that has changed. I've been through several of those in the course of my young adult to adulthood, and those ones always hurt. You can also be grieving a life path that you didn't choose. That one itself is interesting because although we are in charge of the decisions we make, that's not always the case. So for example, I'm married. I brought my sister in from my mother's house because of how my mom treated my sister, right? My husband and I have 2 kids. With my sister came her pet and also her child. My husband is now the main caretaker during the day, and then when I'm done doing what I'm doing, which is in a few, just like in a few, then we switch off. Then he does what he needs to do work-wise, and I'm watching everybody, but by then it's already like the end of the day. So he does majority, and he's also taking care of my sister's kid. So he is in that process of grieving a life that he didn't choose. People also can grieve a season that ended. I feel like it's important for people to start observing. And with observation, you need to be able to be present in the moment. And I know from experience that that is not easy. So I'm not going to say it like it's just easy. I'm going to say, if you're noticing that you're in your head a lot and you're trying to be present, maybe tap your finger and listen to the sound. Tap your foot, listen to the sound. If you're in the shower, listen to the water. Try to connect to something that's going on in the now and listen to it. And that will start giving you the practice you need to be in the present moment. That's what I did. And I think that could work for other people. Maybe somebody might have some other kind of advice regarding how you can be in the present moment. Breathing exercises help too. A lot of grief frameworking focuses on moving through grief. However, I want to challenge people to not necessarily move through it, because we're going to do that anyways. But I want you to observe before you fix. And like I said, in order for you to observe, you need to be present. I want you to observe before you judge. Observe before you rush to meaning. Once you start to observe more stuff, then you catch yourself and you notice that, hold on, you like start doing this dialogue in your head of why did I think that whatever was said or done meant that way, meant like something different other than what it actually was. Grief is not a problem to solve. Grief is an experience to witness, not because we stay there forever, but honestly because witnessing is what allows integration to happen. And that's my spiel. And that's what I'm working on. I'm working on a grief project. And if you want to stick around, please do. Because this shit's fucking crazy.